Hey, what's up? Today we're going to replace the low beam light on a Mercedes E350 2006. This is a W211 model. I recently replaced the passenger side, and that was a little bit easier. It's the same process, but you don't have to remove as many things to get to it. So it'll really be the same thing on the passenger side, but that side's a little bit easier. So we'll walk through the steps here to remove and replace this bulb. Now before we get started, I want to make sure that you turn off the car and take the keys out, and make sure you turn this to off. Make sure it's off and that there's no current running to the light switch. So you want to make sure you got that off when you're doing any type of work on those front lights. Okay, so this is the bulb I'm going to be replacing. This is an H7 SYLVANIA. As you can see, that's what it looks like. The important thing is when you're handling the bulbs, handle it by the tip as much as possible, and make sure you wear gloves and don't touch the bulb. Try to hold it by the metal part or the tip. If you get oils on the bulb, it'll shorten the life of the bulb. Okay, so in order to access the bulb, we're going to have to get in behind here. And as you can see, this part here is the plastic cover for it, but there's a lot of stuff in the way. So this coolant tank, we're going to have to kind of move that out of the way, and that'll be the first step. So make sure your engine's cool when you do this. You don't want to be moving this with hot coolant. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is pull up this connection here. So you kind of want to pry that center up until that is loose. Once we get that loose, then you can just pull up the center and pull this out of here. So I'll get that a little bit looser and pull it out. So that's loose, and as you can see, once that's loose, you pull that center out, and then you can see that the coolant tank is loose here. So I just need to loosen up down at the bottom here, and then we can pull it out of the way. So this is all loose, it just sets in there. So in order to move this out of the way, I'm actually going to take this intake hose off here, and if I lift that out of the way, you can that just pulls right off. And now we can pick up the coolant tank and kind of turn it sideways to kind of set it out of the way, and that'll give us access. The bottom hose is still connected to it, so that'll now give us access to the bottom or the back of the light that's in here. So there you can see that round disc there is what needs to be unscrewed. So what I'm going to do is you can see that center of the disc. I'm going to grab that with my fingers, and I can't do this with the camera in the way, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab that and I'm going to turn it counterclockwise, and then I'll show you what it looks like as it comes off. So here's the disc that I just took off. You can see when it's in there, you just grab it by the center here and just turn it counterclockwise. And you can see it's actually written on here, open and close on there. So yeah, it's really easy. You just turn it counterclockwise and you can just pull it right out. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see here still because the camera can't quite get in there, but as you can see, that yellow wire there, those are the two wires that connect to the back of the bulb connection. So again, what I'm going to do is reach in the hole there, and I'm going to grab that and twist it counterclockwise and then pull the bulb out, and then I'll show you what that looks like. And I try to get a little bit more light on it there so we can focus on that. And you can see the brown and yellow wire there, and that's what we're going to be grabbing there. Okay, as you can see, I twisted it out counterclockwise. It's still connected to the wires, and there's two metal tabs on each side of the black plastic connector. You can see one there and that part there. You're going to pull these little wings out, the little metal wings out, and then you can slide the black connector off the back. So this is the old light bulb here, that's why I can touch it with my hands, but what I was trying to show you is that this little opening here and the one on the other side, you have to pry these two things out so you can slide the electrical connector off. Now this part right here you're going to have to reuse, so make sure you take note of how it's situated on the back of the bulb, because it's going to fit exactly the same way to go back, so you have to make sure you take a picture or something so you know exactly how that goes back on. So I've got the new bulb here. I put the back piece on it. Now what I'm going to do is slide it back in the hole just like this, and I'm going to turn it clockwise. So from the back, looking from the back of the bulb is where I'm going to be turning it clockwise like that to get it in. So I'm going to put the electrical connector on first and then twist it in clockwise. As you can see, I've got the electrical connector plugged back in. So now I'm going to put the bulb in the hole down there, and then I'm going to twist the whole body this way. So this is actually the top here, so it's going to go in like this and then slightly turn to the right. Okay, so I'm going to show you, see this part right here, these little wings that are sticking on the side here. There's one on each side right there, and on the other side, when you screw the bulb in, it has to go in that little slot right there. So if we look at the bulb, let's take a look at that. We have you can kind of see it here on the top. See this part where my thumb is right now, right there. There's one of those on each side, so focus on that. So there's one of those on each side, and what that's going to do is when you twist it, it's going to go in those slots. So if you see that slot there, that's what it's going to screw into. So you can get a little bit better view of it after I screwed it in there. So it's in there. So now all I have to do is put the cover back on and the coolant tank, and we're done. And here's the cover. I'm going to put that in. As you can see, it's labeled here top. So I'm going to put that in the hole underneath here and just turn it to close, and that'll be the back of the light. So there we got the black cover back on the back of the light, and I'm going to move up here to the coolant tank, and again just set that back into the notches where it was before. You can see underneath there that plastic, those two notches right there, just go in those two holes. And we're going to put the retaining pin back in here, hold it in place. So the last thing we're going to do is put our air intake back on. We have this, the round end is going to go on the air filter, and the more oblong end is going to go in here by the radiator, and that's just a pressure fit. So the last thing we're going to do is just turn our lights on, turn our ignition on, and test our lights and make sure the warning light went off. And as you can see, the light bulb's working. So that's really all there is to it. Like I said, the passenger side is the same. It's actually a little bit easier because you don't have to move the coolant tank. All you really have to do is reach in there, take the back off, and unscrew the light, and that's it.